Welcome to the shit show. Every single day, a new flavor of fuckery. Cause everybody's such, you see, and they're dumber than a bag of clots. Monday, bullshit. Tuesday, bullshit. Wednesday, hey, what the fuck? And then 4 more days of increasingly stupid, ridiculous, ignorant, boulder, dash, poppycock, bollocks, and fuckery. Yeah, we'll have it all over again.
Meow meow to everyone. So glad you are here. Yes, I hope they don't cut off my stream as well. I was really fucking annoyed they did that. I have my suspicions of who did it. So hopefully they won't do it again. I even wrote the person that I, was fairly sure did, and I was like, is there anything you want to tell me? He did not respond at all. I'm like, okay, all right. Huh. Because if I was accused of something, my first question would be like, what happened? Hello, Apex. How are you? I wasn't even a censorship necessarily. I think someone was just being a salty motherfucker. So, anywho, let me get a pack of cigarettes. I ran out just now. Hold on. All right. Correct. That oftentimes is the case. Y'all are awesome, though. Get my cigarette. All right. So let me see. There's a couple of spots I want to look at real quick. Oh, right. All right. So I'm going to start with this one. Let's get the screen going. Now, this looks like, oh, hello, Ian Slater. Hi. Welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Yay. All right. Let's get rid of that little thing. I hate that. Anywho. Let's see. Which is this one? So this one looks like fucking trouble. If anything was ever to make me go, nice try, feds, this would do it. Scroll up. AI Jesus avatar tests man's faith in machines and the divine. Oh, fuck. What's up with this shit? A Swiss research team came up with an interesting way to test the boundaries of science and religion, because everything always goes so well with that. Would you trust an AI Jesus with your innermost thoughts and troubles? Fuck no! Researchers and religious leaders on Wednesday released findings from 2-month experiment through art in the Catholic chapel in Switzerland, where an avatar Jesus on a computer screen tucked into a confessional took questions by visitors on faith, morality, and modern-day woes, and offered responses based on scripture. Oh, have mercy. The idea, said the chapel's theological assistant, was to recognize the growing importance of artificial intelligence in humans' lives when it comes to religion and explore the limits of human trust in machine. Ah, God almighty. After a 2-month run of the Deus Machina exhibit, I think that's probably something like God in the Machine or something. I'm not really a Latin. I'm assuming that's Latin. I could be wrong. But anyway, exhibit at Peter's Chapel starting in late August. Some 900 conversations from visitors, some came more than once, were transcribed anonymously. Sure. Those behind the project said it was largely a success. Visitors often came out moved or deep in thought and found it easy to use. Some fucking weird ass shit. A small sign invited visitors to enter a confessional chosen for its intimacy, and below a lattice screen across the penitent believers, which the penitent believers would usually speak with a priest, A green light signaled the visitor's turn to speak, and the red one came when AI Jesus is on the computer screen. On the other side was responding. Often a lag time was needed to wait for responses, a testament to the technological complexities. After exiting, nearly 300 visitors filled out questionnaires that informed the report released Wednesday. Man, oh God, it's oh man, I've heard so much talk about a one world religion and this and that, and I feel like this is probably not helping. This is gonna be some weird shit they just add in. I do not want a computer to take my innermost thoughts and stuff and transcribe it somewhere. I mean, it says anonymously, but bullshit. I don't believe it. I don't believe it for a moment. No. Some fucking weird shit. Let me go see what y'all like. Let's see y'all real quick. Wait, where am I at? Oh. Oh, hello, Frosty Broccoli. Ooh, let me go back up a little further. It seems I'm missing everybody. Aw, meow. Miss you too. Oh, purr, Takani. Meow. God and the Machine. Okay, I think it was something like that. It's turned from Greek drama, where the solution ending of the play often involved a machine that made it an actor seem to be flying as God. And that goes right with the Project Bluebeam shit that I'm fucking worried about. So, yeah. I fucking knew that couldn't be any good. It's fucking weird ass shit. I mean, we already have like those AI little things you can have on your phone where it kind of gives you someone to talk to, or the illusion you have someone to talk to. But even then, no. Aw, thank you. Yes, exactly. And I think so. Y'all remember how in some of the other live streams I talked about how Israel seems to have a monopoly on finding those religious artifacts, and whether or not they're real ones, we don't know. But nonetheless, having them, and it's funny how they seem to always omit anything that is Christian or Muslim, but it always seems to be stuff that fits that narrative, the Jewish narrative or the Israeli narrative. Yeah, and so I feel like these are all coming together into one fucking mess, to be honest. Hey, Graviton! Hello! Let's have a criminal pardoning party. Who's getting pardoned? I'm actually curious on that. Yeah, and that is super concerning. I'm like, ugh. That's, yeah, we should not do that. That is some weird shit. I cannot pronounce that. Second in command at the WEF, and it's really coincidentally, was talking a few years back about AI writing a new religion for the world. See, yeah. Did he? Who pardoned him? I didn't see that. There was talk that someone might, and they were thinking that Trump might pardon him if to kind of smooth things over with everyone. But that's fucking nuts. Just got pardoned. I feel like if your dad is president, you shouldn't be able to get pardoned. You know what I mean? Like I feel like that's kind of that's kind of what I figured. Jeez. See, you know what? I just give up on everything. Like there is no fucking justice. There really is not. I think we're all getting played. I think we are told that there is justice and things will work out to stop us from doing crazy ass vigilante shit. You know what I mean? I really think so. Well, it's the argument of how to get it going again is what it. A little hairball going. Heavens, Betsy. All right, awesome. So yeah, the AI Jesus is such a fucking weird ass idea. Fucking Swiss came up with it. Yeah, and they're gonna put this out there on phones, make people feel like they got some Jesus in their phone, and they're gonna be like, don't worry, it's anonymous. No, it's not. No, it won't be. Because as soon as you say, you know what, I'm really, I'm mad at somebody and I'm thinking of doing this or this, you're going to have police at your fucking door. You know what I mean? Like, guaranteed. This is how the government and the deep state and all that is going to find people who have mental health issues easier. They're going to find the people that they look for to recruit to do crazy ass false flag shit, you know, all kinds of crap. Or just good old fashioned dirt. Like, you know, oh, you're a judge or a lawyer and you admitted to cheating on your wife. We're going to use that to get you to do some shit. Yeah, there's no good that's going to come from this right here. Fucking none. Ooh. Let's see. Let me switch this around a little bit. All right. Enough, cat. Sorry, my cat is scooping in the litter box, and she just won't stop fucking scooping in the litter box. She even scratches like the walls because it's like one of those enclosed ones. Yes, thank you. Everybody go check that out. Go click on it and open up in another window, and so you can go back to it later. Trust your government. Where's the Borg resistance? Right? No shit. Hello, Al Munson. How are you? So glad you're here. Welcome. Good to see you. Oh, excuse me. All right, so we're going to get on to this Trump aide guy that people are talking about. So it says Trump aide Kash Patel demands massive declassification, calls for the release of the Epstein and Diddy list as truth must come out. Well, that sounds good. But it says, but also, you know, anybody wonders how he got the job. I have some theories on how he got this job, by the way. So he's going to be FBI director, or is currently, I'm not sure. But yeah, we need America to wake up and prioritize Israel. We've been taken over. I mean, we might as well just convert our dollars to shekels because that's where we're at. That's really where we're at, honestly. People are wondering, well, what's the point of no return? I think we're there, actually. I think we passed it. You know, we kind of slept on it a little bit. Yeah, this guy is kind of with me on this one. Yeah, he wants to see him dismantle the FBI, release the client list, but I'm against him being pro. I'm against anyone being so pro another country. Because, I mean, let me go back up this thing here. Yeah, we need to wake up and prioritize Israel. First off, we've been awake for a while. We've been prioritizing Israel for a long time, giving them billions and billions and billions of dollars. We're probably close to the trillions at this point, actually, from all the years we've been doing this. And if you're in America, you're supposed to prioritize America. If you want to prioritize Israel or another country, go to that country and go run for office. Okay? I mean, yikes. Let's see if we can make this a little bit bigger and read some captions on this. Can I make the captions bigger? Like, is that an option at all? Ooh. It doesn't look like that is an option. So I don't know how to help y'all see this at the bottom. Damn it. Let's see how the... Oh, gotta mute it because I don't want to get a copyright hit. The Israeli military and Mossad combined with the maximum pressure of a new Trump administration against Iran. Aaron's absolutely right. We should be side by side, and that can't happen unless we have an election that changes the commander-in-chief's seat. How old is this article? Because we already had a change, did we not? Or we're going to, I guess. We were back in power with President Trump. You will see. Did the prime? It's going too fast. I can't keep up with that. I'm sorry. But this is the person who has this up. So y'all can go check her out on Twitter and you can see this because I can't make it big enough to see it. And he reads it too fast. So sorry about that. But a YouTuber I know here in Oklahoma has something to say about Kash Patel as well. He calls himself the liberal loudmouth. He's not as super liberal as you might think. I think he's more like liberals were in like the 80s and 90s. Like they're not really insane and crazy. So, hold on. I gotta change this in such a way that you guys can hear it. Because if I share the entire, like the whole thing, you can't hear it. But I have to share the page individually so that you can. So here we go.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's the liberal loudmouth. So Kash Patel, who Trump picked to be the FBI director, is out there flapping his suckhole again about the Epstein list.
Chronos.
Now, I'm going to play a clip, and I want you to pay close attention to the words that Kash Patel uses and see if you catch the strange way that he kind of qualifies the information. And then let's talk about that afterwards and see if you caught what I caught. Let's listen.
You know, it's the same thing with Epstein's list. It's like, what the hell are these Republicans doing? Oh,
I saw you
give out the list.
I saw you make news this morning about that. I got to get to that.
Yeah.
You say that the FBI has Epstein's list. They're sitting on it. That doesn't seem like something you should do. You're protecting the world's foremost predator. That seems like an evil thing to do, regardless of who may be embarrassed in the release of that list. Why is the FBI protecting the greatest pederast, the largest scale pederast in human history?
Simple, because of who's on that list. You don't think that Bill Gates is lobbying Congress night and day to prevent the disclosure of that list? And why is it that the Senate, you know, and good for Senator Blackburn to try to get it out, but then Dick Durbin comes over the top and says, no, we're not going to release the names. I don't care about the list itself, but if release the names, right? What the hell are the House Republicans doing? They have the majority. You can't get the list? You're going to accept Dick Durbin's word, or whoever that guy is, as to who is on that list and who isn't, and that it can and can't be released? Put on your big boy pants and let us know who the pedophiles are. We have an election coming up, and we need to adjudicate this matter at the polls. God knows the FBI and DOJ aren't going to do anything, but how are you going to reward the FBI?
And that's no shit, for real. Because y'all remember I was complaining that Marjorie Taylor Greene sounded like she had access to this because she was threatening to have a whole bunch of shit released if they went after Matt Gaetz's ethics committee report. So, I think a lot of the people who are in office right now actually do have access to it, and they're probably using it against each other to blackmail each other for different shit. But they don't want to release it to us because then we will vote them out, and they will not be happy, and they will be fired.
FBI with a new headquarters building after their illegal surveillance on Donald Trump continues with a reauthorization of FISA, and we can't even get basic documents out. This is why America hates Congress.
Okay, so did you notice the way he talked about the list? He said, I don't give a damn about the list. I just want the names. Just release the names.
That is the list.
So he's saying that because they don't want the actual list, the documents that release all of these names, because then they can't cherry pick through it, right? Then all of the names are already out there. Kash wants to be able to cherry pick the names of the people that are opposed to Donald Trump and then pretend that they are all, pedos, even though we know that Donald Trump has flown on the Lolita Express. It was mentioned from the Epstein tapes that Trump had actually met Melania on the plane. Now, I don't know if that's true, but imagine Melania is being trafficked by Jeff Epstein, then Trump meets.
That's a crazy thought. I had never heard or I never thought of that. That's a crazy ass thought to have there.
It's her on there and ends up marrying this illegal immigrant who had overstayed her visa, and now she's the first lady. And Kash wants to complain about that list. And I want to point out to Kash that when Donald Trump was asked to release the list, listen to what the dude had to say.
If you were president, would you declassify, you can answer yes or no to these.
Yeah.
Would you declassify the 9/11 files?
Yeah.
Would you declassify JFK files?
Yeah.
Would you,
I did a lot of it.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.
All right.
I guess I would. I think that less so because, you don't know it. You don't want to affect people's lives if it's phony stuff in there because it's.
If there's phony stuff in there. So he's already trying to excuse what's on that list. He probably already knows what's in that list.
A lot of phony stuff with that whole world.
Okay, did Kash ever see that video? Why isn't he criticizing Donald Trump, who could have released it and didn't? and who Epstein under his watch was. Sorry, Cash. Do you believe what Donald Trump just said? Will you release this? Yes. Will you release that? Yes. Will you release the Epstein files? I mean, yeah, I mean, sure, let's so, because, you know, I mean, the people on that, I mean, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
He was lying through his teeth. He doesn't want it released either. And you're over here, well, I don't care about the list. I just want the names so I can pick through them and say this person and this person, this person, this person was on it, and then let everybody forget that there were other people on it too, including Donald Trump. Sorry, Cash. If you want that, yeah, let's go for it. You said you wanted to use the list so that America.
If somebody's not super excited about releasing the names on that list for everybody to see, I assume that they're either on the list or they're getting paid very well and are friends with somebody who is on that list. I mean, that's just me on that, and I think y'all might be there too. Even if you do like Trump, if this is the case, I would like to think that this is the line in the sand that you wouldn't cross. You know what I mean? Because you can like someone, but if they get to a point where they're doing some really fucked up shit, at some point you can't really defend them anymore. You know? But yeah, you should definitely go check out this guy's channel. Let me just show it to you real quick. This is his YouTube channel. You should go check it out. Let's see. So anyway, let me close this and this and that. And then I can go over here. I will start some new stuff. Well, the other thing, hold on. Let me scroll up some more, see what I'm missing. At least the great, yeah. Trump is more than once. Trump, right? That's probably what it, and so if liberal loudmouth is correct, then yeah, he doesn't care about the list. He wants the name so that way he can just cherry pick through it. And this is probably one of the reasons why that Kash Patel guy wants to prioritize Israel, because everybody was saying that, you know, him and Epstein was working with Mossad to get all these dirt on politicians so they can control them in government. I mean, there has to be somebody in government who would turn down that money, but the way they set it up in such a way that you can't resist. Here, take this money. You're rich and your secret is safe with us. You don't take the money. You're broke and you're exposed and you're ruined. Powers that be almost succeeded in pushing. Well, they're still working on it. Ooh, that's rough. If only you're rich. Otherwise, exactly. Hello, Miss Frosty. Purr. Glad you're here. Meow, meow. Yes, thank you. Yes, Liberal Loudmouth link right there. So yes, do go check that out. He oftentimes has some really good stuff. And like I said, he's not liberal like the way you normally see. He's like the old-fashioned liberal. Like it's you know, it's got a hit of leftist, but it's not bad. It's really not. It's nothing else. At least it's a different perspective than what you normally hear. And he's always been really cool with me. Like, he's never given me shit for my views or nothing. So he's a pretty reasonable guy. He may not sound like it because he kind of sounds gruff, but I think that's just part of the persona, you know? Anywho. Well, if you did not, you can do it again. If you already did, it doesn't matter. Go ahead. Anywho. All right. So entire screen. So that way I can just go from one thing to another. All right. Okay, we've got to hide a little thing there. Trump may rely on acting secretaries if nominees fail to muster GOP support. See, I wonder how GOP is feeling, because they're not liking his picks, but they have fought tooth and nail to get Trump elected. Like that's wild. Honestly, I think somebody, much like when you have a running mate when you're running for like president, you should have like the people you would want in cabinets before you win the election. Like, so that way when people are voting for you, they know what all they're voting for. Like, yes, if I get elected, I would like so-and-so in this position, this one in that office. I feel like that's how they should do it, not surprise you with their choices after you've picked them. President-elect Trump may be may need to rely on acting secretaries to fill out his cabinet as a number of key nomination draws significant concern from key GOP senators, as they should. There are some concerns in there. There's a lot of weird concerns. God. When Senate confirmations are in limbo, especially if there is a pushback from lawmakers, presidents can slip nominees into acting roles for at least 210 days. Trump did so across more than 20 cabinet-level jobs in his first term. Trump's picks like Pete Hegseth for Defense Secretary, Tulsi Gabbard for Director of National Intelligence, Robert Kennedy for Health and Human Services, among others, are sure to face some opposition from Senate Republicans. Hegseth, Kennedy, and Linda McMahon. Yeah, that wrestling guy's wife. What the fuck? She's going to be picked for Education Secretary. What the hell does a wrestler's wife have to do with Education Secretary jobs? I feel like he's just, I don't know. What the fuck? It's weird. Whatever. All are expected to field questions from senators over allegations of sexual misconduct, enabling sexual abuse. Oh, wow. Trump's original pick for Attorney General, Representative Matt Gaetz, dropped out of the confirmation process just a week after being named amid allegations of sex with minors, which he denies. Yikes. Not even one. It's more than one minor. That's plural minors. Yikes. Senators will question their other nominees like Gabbard over if they're qualified for the role or have any conflicts of interest. Everybody's got a conflict of interest up there, let's be honest. By February 2020, acting secretary under Trump administration served a total of 2,736 combined days across 22 cabinet-level jobs, according to the Washington Post analysis. During his first 4 years in office, Trump had acting officials serve more than 3 times as much as former President Obama had during his 8 years in office. Under Obama, there were 2,202 combined days in which acting officials served. I could foresee a situation where he definitely does that, given that he has a record of doing that, one former Trump administrative official said. I mean, Chad Wolf was there for how long? And I actually would have to go see who Chad Wolf is. I actually don't know. The official was referring to Wolf's extended stint as acting Secretary of Homeland Security, which lasted 14 months. Some lawmakers pointed in this direction as a prime example of why they are worried at the prospect of acting officials taking the helm of some departments and agencies because Wolf was unable to carry out parts of Trump's immigration plan. A federal judge in 2020 invalidated his decision to limit work permits via the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program for migrants illegally brought to the United States when they were children because Wolf did not have the legal authority to make such a move as acting secretary rather than being confirmed by the Senate. Like, I feel like Trump's not even trying to get appointees that are normal. He's picking some really strange shit. Like, still, Linda McMahon for Education Secretary, that's just fucking odd. Like, I really want to know how I want to hear how that conversation took place. The most glaring example of Trump's panache for relying on acting heads centered around the Office of Management and Budget, where Russell Vought served as acting director for a year and a half before winning full Senate confirmation. He served in that role when the OBM director, Mike Mulvaney, took the role as acting House Chief of Staff. Trump also relied on acting secretaries for sizable stretches, whereas elsewhere in his cabinet, Patrick Shanahan became the longest serving acting head of the Pentagon with his 6-month tenure. How long does this go? That's kind of a long article. I'm not going to go through all that necessarily, but all right, next article. So this was 16 hours ago. Hunter Biden's team issues a fiery defense ahead of sentencing, a possible pardon. Hunter Biden's legal team is launching an assertive public defense of the president's son just weeks before the federal judges in Delaware and California prepare to sentence him this month. And as his father faces the diminishing window to pardon him if he chooses to do so, despite previously ruling it out. Of course, he was hoping his son wouldn't be found guilty. But according to somebody in the chat, they said this has already happened. So Hunter Biden's lawyers criticized the foundation of the investigation into their client, arguing that he was prosecuted for crimes that an ordinary citizen would not have been. Really? Really? I feel that's unlikely. I do. I feel that is unlikely. Hunter Biden is likely to face further unfair threats when President-elect Trump takes office. Like, is there any article going on? Let's see if we can find something going on right now with that. 4 minutes ago, President Biden pardons son Hunter after vowing not to. There we go. Honestly, this should not be allowed. You should be exempt from presidential pardons if you're the son or close relative of the president. This is insane. Let's go look at this fucking mess. President Biden on Sunday pardoned his son Hunter, wiping away his criminal convictions on tax and gun charges. And they were saying that Hunter was getting prosecuted for crimes that regular people wouldn't. Regular people do get in trouble for tax and gun charges. Yes, they do. There's a shit ton of people in prison for gun charges. That's a fucking stupid thing for that guy to have said. Biden's pardon came just weeks before his son was set to appear for sentencing hearings in Delaware and California, where he faced the potential of lengthy prison sentences. Yeah, he knew Daddy was going to come save him. There's fucking no justice here. There really isn't. Today I signed a pardon for my son Hunter. From the day I took office, I said I would not interfere with the Justice Department's decision making. And I kept my word even as I watched my son being selectively and unfairly prosecuted for taxes and gun charges. Sir, really? In Delaware, the younger Biden was found guilty earlier this year of charges that he lied about his drug use on a federal form that he completed as part of a 2018 gun purchase. 3 months later, he's on trial for tax charges that was set to begin in Los Angeles. He pleaded guilty to the other offenses in a surprise move. He pleaded guilty because he knew Daddy was going to save him. And let's see. In a surprise move that headed off legal proceedings that was set to feature evidence of what the president's son spent lavishly. Oh, so he also pleaded guilty, so what he spent the money on would not be made public record. So you can assume he bought bad things. Guns, children, what the fuck ever. So, yeah. So he pleaded guilty knowing Daddy would save him and it would protect what he paid for. Lovely. Fucking lovely. You know what? All right. Should be disqualified. Conservatives come out against Trump's DEA pick over what he did during COVID. So apparently this guy here apparently was a real fucking piece of shit during 2020. Several conservatives expressed concern Sunday over President-elect Trump. I don't know why I keep saying President-elect. We get it. President Trump's announcement of Republican Florida Sheriff Chad Chronister, I guess, to be administrator of the Drug Enforcement Agency, DEA. Lovely. Trump revealed Saturday in a statement that he will nominate Chronister as the lead of the DEA in his second administration, stating that the Florida sheriff will work with his Attorney General pick, Pam Bondi, to secure the border, stop the flow of fentanyl and other illegal drugs across the southern border. While Chronister received praise from his colleagues and others after initial announcement, some Republicans have begun to fire back due to his actions during COVID. So in March 2020, the Hillsborough County Sheriff released a press statement revealing that he had arrested local Tampa Bay church pastor Dr. Rodney Howard Brown on 2 second-degree misdemeanors of unlawful assembly and violation of public health emergency rules. So basically, he arrested a minister for having church. Lovely. In a post on Twitter from the Libertarian Party of Mississippi, the group called out Chronister's decision to arrest Howard Brown, leading Republican Kentucky Representative Thomas Massey to respond as well. I like Thomas Massey. I do. This guy should be fucking president. He's fucking great. And I don't say nice things about most politicians because I fucking hate them all. But Massey's all right. I'm going to call him like I see him. Trump's nominee for the head of the DEA should be disqualified for ordering the arrest of a pastor who defied COVID lockdowns. He's fucking great. This guy never fucking misses. I like this guy. And I can't believe Trump picked this guy, especially when so many of Trump's supporters are evangelicals who had absolute hissy fits about having churches locked down. I mean, I'm not saying they're wrong for it, but it's kind of weird. And I'm not sure. I would love to start randomly interviewing evangelicals around here to see how they feel about this. Like they're probably gonna be like, well, I'm sure he's different, or I trust whatever Trump decides. Like they won't say a bad word about him. It's crazy. Like, this fucking guy. They'll be throwing ministers in jail for having church. Get fucking real. Let me go check on y'all real quick. Okay, oops. Oh, it's been a bit. Oh boy, I missed a lot, apparently. Okay, here we go. To be lighthearted for a second. Let's see. Is she the one that looks like Rogue? I don't think so. Oh, you mean Tulsi Gabbard? Yeah, a little bit she does. Maybe around the hair. Yeah, no, Tulsi has BIA. He has to play. Jared Kushner's father, who he pardoned as diplomat for France. Huh. He's like, I hate Christian. Lady has a lot of flowers. Oh, yeah. Vince McMahon had to body slam and put in a sharpshooter cheating pants for Linda to be educated. It's so weird. Waste of time. Right, it is. It absolutely is. It's insane. Must be nice. Right? No kidding. Yep. Just like being Trump gets away with everything. Pretty much. They're all terrible. Focus on the good stuff. I'm trying to. I'm trying to, but I don't really see a whole lot, to be honest. I'll have to just show news articles of people who found their long lost pets and, everybody's happy again. That's about, it's the only way I'm going to be able to report anything happy. Like, I'm MAGA and I still obey the law. Well, I mean, I would hope so. I rest my case just by your answer to my statement. Pardon those who were wrongfully thrown in prison for insurrection. I think they all should be, because honestly, a lot of that was the feds getting involved. Oh, Lordy. George, where did that even come from? Roger Stone was pardoned. The future diplomat for France was pardoned. Fucking Roger Stone. Roger Stone's a weird little guy. He's bizarre. Like, the vibes I get from the guy is pretty odd. I think maybe it's his chiclet white teeth that kind of freak me out. I don't know what it is, but it's odd. And doesn't he have President Nixon tattooed on his body? I feel like he does. My biggest worry is that Trump tanks the stock market and he is busy napping when the next attack comes to America. They're going to help it happen. That's the thing. Is because a lot of this, all right, a lot of this is setting up to do that. Because if they can't get the people behind them enough to, get a war in Syria and everything going, or to officially have boots on the ground so they can officially declare war, they will do something here so that everybody will back it, just like with 9/11. Yeah. To be lighthearted to get. Oh, it's another. You can have a lot of ex-wives, my guy. Goodness. She's Rogan, Wonder Woman. Let's see. I got a song in your head. What thing? Both sides are bad, not just Trump. I have no faith in. Right? I really don't have any faith in those fuckers. Bon Jovi. I have no faith in the current. I have no faith in them either. Yeah, they're all of them a bunch of fuckwits. Right? Some wars can't be won, especially if your government's the one creating a war where there otherwise would not have been. They do it for the money. You're right. Roger Stone has a tattoo of Nixon on his back. Yeah, I thought he did because I found some picture of him not wearing a whole lot of clothes, and it showed a Nixon on him, and I was like, are they? I didn't know if it was like Photoshop, it was a joke or not, but I knew what you meant. So like it took me a second, but I knew. But yeah, that was such a bizarre thing. Hold on, I heard the other day that I am in the wrong generation to get a job. It depends on what work you're going for. Your dad's president, you can be an artist. All right. Let's get back to it. All right. So we've seen this. Thomas Massie, lone Republican, calling out Trump's DEA picks. I love this guy because he's calling out everything. He's calling out the lobbyists. He's specifically calling out AIPAC. He's calling out everybody. And I love that. I love this about him. I hope nothing bad happens to him. If anything starts coming up about him, they start making allegations against him, or if he gets sick or hurt, I'm gonna know it's a ruse because he's too honest. And not like me on this channel, I don't think y'all have ever heard me say that a politician was honest. But you can mark the calendars because today is that day. I hope he stays that way. I hope he doesn't get bought off eventually. But he was even spilling the tea about how AIPAC owns all the politicians, and he's like the only one that doesn't. Because he said in one interview that he was catching crap from AIPAC, and one of his politicians was like, "Oh, that's terrible. Let me talk to my AIPAC guy, see if I can get them to ease up on you." You know how fucking weird that is? That everybody's got an AIPAC guy or person. Representative Thomas Massie became the first Republican congressman to vocally disagree with President-elect's nomination for the head of the DEA. Good. I'm glad somebody's got the fucking balls to say something to the guy. Trump named Florida Hillsborough County Sheriff Chad Chronister to run the DEA on Saturday, further rounding out his cabinet before inauguration. Massie took to Twitter on Sunday to remind his followers about that shit right there that I should not say too often because YouTube. I'm going to call it like I see it. Well, we already read that in the last article. So, Palestinian given 18 months in prison for destroying West Bank antiquities site. See, now this I'm wondering about because I've been showing y'all articles about, I think it was like 2 or 3 live streams back, where there seems to be an unusual amount of focus on antiquities found like in Israel, Palestine, West Bank, all that. And I figured that it was possibility, especially the fact they're omitting. They're not saying, hey, we found this Christian artifact. Well, we found this Muslim artifact. We never hear that. Even though those people have been in that land for a long fucking time. But somehow it's always just ones that push the Israelite narrative and nothing else. Nothing else gets mentioned. Statistically, that's just not likely. It's bound to be something else, but they just don't talk about it. And it's weird. And I'm wondering if this young man, or well, I don't know if he's young, whatever. But this person, I'm wondering if they knew that's what was happening and went to go destroy some of the stuff. Or if he was caught just digging, looking for things, and they just said he was destroying it. So, hold on. In what appears to be a first, an Israeli military court has handed out a jail sentence for Jafar Mohammed Zayed, a Palestinian resident of the West Bank, for destroying antiquities in his town of Rahan. We're just going to call it Rahan. In a preceding, hold on. Air's getting a little dry in here. In a precedent-setting ruling, Zahad was sentenced to 18 months in prison plus 12 months suspended and fined $18,000. They had the conversion here. for destroying and vandalizing, it's got it in quotes, destroying and vandalizing antiquity site, the Israel Heyman Daily reported Wednesday. Rahan in the northern West Bank falls under Area C in the system set up during the Oslo Accords, where Israel has military and civilian control while the Palestinian Authority provides medical and educational services. The village area was inhabited in antiquity and contains remains from the Hellenistic, Roman, and Persian periods. The area was abandoned during the 3rd century before being repopulated at a later date. The report said Zayed was found guilty of carrying out illegal work, using heavy tools and mechanical equipment that destroyed valuable historical remains of the Byzantine period between September of 2023 and March of 2024, despite warnings to cease activity. Hold on now. He brought tools and mechanical equipment. That sounds like he was looking for something. Maybe he found something they don't want him to tell anybody and they threw him in jail. Maybe he found something that doesn't just point to Israelites being there, but others. And maybe they've thrown him in jail for that. Because with this headline up here that, he was destroying antiquities, it sounds like he's running around spray painting shit, hammering and breaking shit. That's what the headlines sound like to me, But no, apparently he was just, I guess they're implying that he was, they even call it illegal work. Not vandalizing, illegal work. So maybe he didn't have a permit to be there or whatever. Using heavy tools and mechanical equipment, they claim destroyed valuable historical remains from the Byzantine period. So he was doing this from September of 2023 to March of 2024. They got September, October, November, December, January, February, March. 7 months. 7 months. Now, I'm confused. If he was doing illegal work for 7 months at an antiquities dig site, but only when he found something from the Byzantine period, that's when they arrested him? See where I'm kind of like, I think he found something and was maybe going to tell people like, hey, I found evidence that shows, other people being here or whatever. That's quite possible. He was just thrown in jail for that. In March, dozens of Palestinians were reported arrested after turning an antiquity site in Rahan into a parking lot. Okay, I'm guessing a lot of people want to come see what was there. That's probably what they mean. The sentence is a new punishment benchmark and reflects the great severity we attribute to damage to our culture and historical, our culture. Yeah, not even going to imply that other people, other cultures were there, not just theirs. Our culture. And historical assets. I think he found something that doesn't fit the narrative and they arrested him. So he wouldn't tell nobody. I feel like there's a chance of this. Minister Elihu said in a statement that also asserted that Rahan's site was connected to the Second Temple era Jewish community. Yeah. I think he found something they don't want anyone to know about. I think what it truly is. Because how are you going to work at a dig site or archaeological dig site for 7 months? It's only when you find something from the Byzantine period, then he gets arrested. If someone's trespassing and doing stuff illegally, why would you wait 7 months to do anything about it? It sounds like horse shit to me. Let's see. Jesus Christ. Shomerim? Yeah, we're just going to call him Shomerim. I can't do this. Protector of Eternity, an activist organization that aims to protect Jewish archaeological sites in the West Bank, applauded the ruling, saying it heralded a new era that will fundamentally change the behavior of enforcement agencies and the legal system behind the vandals of heritage sites. It's not a new era. Like, pretty much anywhere you go, if you're vandalizing an archaeological dig, they're going to get you for vandalism. Like, it's not a new thing. But yeah, it's in there like the new era that will fundamentally change the yeah. So basically, they're going to punish the hell out of people for finding stuff. Let's see. So yeah, I feel like there's some protect Jewish archaeological sites. West Bank itself is supposed to belong to the Palestinians, though. So okay, the issue of antiquities in the West Bank is complex. Not really. With their preservation technically under the what the hell is that? I don't even know what the hell that is. What is this word? The protection and backing of support of a particular person or organization. Okay. Under the protection of a specialized department of the Defense Ministry's Civil Administration, which oversees civilian affairs in the West Bank. The Palestinian Authority also has a government department set up to preserve antiquities in the area it directly administers. Areas A, B, which constitute 40% of the West Bank. However, Jewish activists have long reported that illegal building and looting threaten historical sites throughout the West Bank. Says the people who are bombing historical lands in the first place. A proposal to transfer authority over to West Bank antiquities to the Israeli Antiquity Authority, which currently oversees antiquities only in Israel proper, was discussed last week. So yeah, so they want to have full control over these archaeological sites, because if you control the narrative of the past, you can control the future. You know what I mean? I've been saying this for a while, and it feels like more and more I'm being seen that I'm right. Because I don't think the Palestinian Authority of the West Bank should hand over their sites A and B. I hope they don't. All right. Anywho, next article. 4 reasons why Hezbollah won't violate the ceasefire deal with Israel is exposed. All right, so that was a day ago. In light of recent ceasefire deals between Israel and Hezbollah, brokered by U.S. President Joe Biden on Thursday, a leading expert said that Lebanon's militant group is unlikely to violate that ceasefire just yet. If they eventually violate the ceasefire, it won't happen within the next month or next year, because Hezbollah forces have been dramatically degraded. That is not completely true. The reason why Israel is much more prone to give a ceasefire to Lebanon and Hezbollah than they are to Gaza is because Gaza is pretty much completely unarmed, and they're just getting a fucking carpet bomb, and they can't fight back. Whereas with Lebanon, Israel's been getting their asses handed right back to them. So that's causing more of a problem. And so they don't want to outright lose in front of everybody. So they're trying to say, oh, it's because they're, if you think that your opponent has been dramatically degraded and can't fight much more, why would you suddenly right then let up? That doesn't make sense. You're that close to victory, right? Yeah, it doesn't make fucking sense. It's because they're not as degraded as they like to claim that they are. Israel just doesn't want to get their ass kicked in front of everybody. But with Gaza, that's not happening. Almost nobody has any way to protect themselves, so they don't have to worry about pushback. So that's why they haven't really stopped. They've just kept beating down on them. Its top leadership has been decapitated. Sure. Much of their weapons, specifically long-range rockets, have been destroyed, and they have reached a point of exhaustion. Which just seems very odd that they would do a ceasefire deal right then. That's not when you let up. The ceasefire agreement was designated by the U.S. and France for a permanent cessation of hostilities. It's weird they're not doing that for Gaza. Isn't that weird? This is why it's important to be able to fight back against the government. Because if you can fight back, maybe. But if they think they can just keep beating on you, they absolutely will. And the 13 separate points of agreement, both parties have agreed on a timetable to withdraw from certain regions in the southern Lebanon, which has been under Hezbollah control for quite some time. The deal is based on the terms of the UN Security Council Resolution 1701 that was adopted in 2006 to end a month-long war between Israel and Hezbollah forces. However, following a truce, Israel carried out its first airstrike on Lebanon Thursday, allegedly targeting Hezbollah activity at a rocket storage facility in southern Lebanon that breached the ceasefire. Yeah, they claimed that because they want an excuse to break the ceasefire. But yeah, at least they're admitting, following the truth. Israel carried out an airstrike, which means they broke the ceasefire. They're saying that they're claiming that someone went and got some weapons, or they said they targeted activity at a rocket storage facility. I would like to know what that activity was, because it's possible if there were weapons in that warehouse and people are just hanging nearby or driving by, they may not actually know what's inside that building. So, and besides, I feel like nations have a right to have their weapons to protect themselves. So again, if there was no shooting, then it's not a ceasefire. It's not a violation of the ceasefire. While no casualties were reported, the action reflected the tumultuous nature of the ceasefire. So, hold on. So they carried out an airstrike on a rocket storage facility because they saw activity there, but nobody got killed? Yeah, I think they were just blowing shit up. Dr. Ben Meir is fairly certain that they will reconstitute themselves. However, there is still time for both Israel and Lebanon communities who have been displaced from their homes to return to their towns and villages during this truce. And what stops Israel from carrying out another airstrike and claiming they saw activity? They're just like people who claim that person was, oh, they're holding a gun and shoot them, and it turns out it was a cell phone instead. Like, that's the vibes it gives me. What? Let's see. Let's see. It's only a question of when Hezbollah will reconstitute itself. While he is certain that Iran is undoubtedly continuing to rebuild and replenish Hezbollah's arsenal, it will take several years before Hezbollah can restore the fighting capabilities that it enjoyed before October 7th. They always like to drop in October 7th, even though a lot of the shit started before October 7th. They want you to imagine that all this crazy chaos only happened on October 7th and nothing ever happened before that. That is absolutely incorrect. They're just hoping if they drill this date into your head, that eventually you'll forget the past and that's the only part you'll remember. And it's worked on a lot of people, oddly. All right, 18 hours ago, well, hold on, maybe 18 hours ago? A day ago, Putin letting Syrian rebels overthrow Assad, ex-Trump intel chief. But that is interesting, actually, because these Syrian rebels, they are actually like Al-qaeda. And here's what I find super fucking interesting, is that Israel has been wanting to go after Syria. And if you've noticed the news for the last, 6 months, they have been Israel has been throwing fucking shit into Syria. They've been throwing it back. They've been bombing shit back and forth like they do. But they've been having trouble getting in there. And America has been trying to get in there too. And so they sent a nice, handy mercenary group to go cause trouble. They're calling them Syrian rebels, but they're actually Al-qaeda. And I think it's interesting that if Al-qaeda is as bad as what we're always told it was, why are they suddenly serving the interest of Israel? Also, a while back there was an article where Al-qaeda was asking Hamas to release the Israeli hostages. That's kind of a weird thing for Al-qaeda to do, but okay. Russia appears to be letting the Syrian rebels overthrow President Assad, according to Richard Grenell, who served as acting director of national intelligence for a time during Donald Trump's administration. On a post on Twitter, Grenell, who has been tipped as a possible member of Trump's incoming administration, commented, "Russia seems to be letting the Syrian rebels overthrow Assad. Big time. Time to play chess." Syrian rebels have been lighting gains across northern Syria since the launching of a major offensive November the 27th, seizing the majority of the country's second largest city, Aleppo, on Friday, according to the UK-based Syrian Observer for Human Rights. Russia launched a military intervention to support Assad in 2015 and still has thousands of personnel in the country, but its air force has been unable to stop the rebels' swift offense. Newsweek contacted Grenell via Instagram direct message on Saturday outside of regular office hours. The Russian and Syrian foreign ministries were contacted at the same time via email. Grenell was the acting director of national intelligence, a cabinet role under Trump from February to May of 2020. Prior to this, he was appointed as the American ambassador to Germany by Trump in 2018. On November 22nd, Reuters reported that Grenell was in running with Trump to be a special envoy to Russia-Ukraine conflict, though the former National Security Advisor Keith Kellogg ended up getting that position. The rebel capture of a large section of Aleppo marks a sharp reversal from 2016 when Assad forces backed by Russia and Iran seized the city following several years of brutal fighting which left thousands dead. The fresh offensive was involved in a number of rebel groups hostile to Assad, with these are the guys that I'm talking about that are pretty much like affiliated with, oh yeah, it says it right here, affiliated with Al-qaeda. Yes. So yeah, they're pretty much like Al-qaeda adjacent. So it's kind of wild that they're, being used for this. And I bet this is a Toyota truck because they always had Toyota trucks. It's weird. There were social media reports that the rebel offensive managed to kill a number of Russian special forces personnel through this has not been independently verified. Oh, fuck. There's a chance that Putin is probably gearing up to do something. I don't think he's going to take fondly to his personnel getting killed. On Saturday, the Syrian army said fighters from the Al-qaeda style group, I guess, I can't fucking pronounce this, had entered Aleppo vowing to expel them and restore the control of the state. The army said the large number of terrorists and multiplicity of the battlefronts prompted our armed forces to carry out a redeployment operation aimed at strengthening the defense lines in order to absorb the attack, preserve the lives of civilians and soldiers, and prepare for a counterattack. Reuters reported on Saturday that the Syrian rebels had also seized the city of Maharat al-Numan in the northwestern Idlib province. Some analysts have attributed the rebel success to weakening and distraction of Assad's allies, Lebanese militant group Hezbollah and Iran, due to the conflict. I think this is interesting because now that this is kicking on, they do a ceasefire with Hezbollah. Because then Hezbollah is no longer going to be busy with defending Lebanon. They're going to go over here. So as their little fucking Al-Qaeda fuckers, the CIA is hired to do this. Now Hezbollah's not going to be distracted. Is that not weird timing to anybody? Israel decides on a ceasefire. So Lebanon has time to, or Hezbollah has time to catch its breath. When right here they're saying that Hezbollah is usually the people who go and defend this. There's a reason for that. I'm just not sure what it's going to be, but it's going to be interesting. Or maybe that's why they attacked Hezbollah, to weaken them so they could go after Syria, so Syria would have less protection. Not sure. Should be interesting. On Wednesday, an American-French brokered a ceasefire came into effect between Israel and Hezbollah following months of fighting, so on Wednesday this happened. So Saturday they reported this was going on, and Wednesday a deal had been brokered. Interesting. In a post on Twitter, Liz Sly, a former Washington Post reporter who specializes in the Middle East, simply astonishing advances by Syrian rebels into Aleppo. Yeah, we're complimenting it like it's a great thing because you've been told that Assad is bad, which, he might be. But at this point, you're basically cheering for Al-Qaeda. You got to think about that for a minute. In just a few hours, they've overrun parts of the city they couldn't take in 4 years of fighting a decade ago. It goes to show how much the Assad regime was depending on Hezbollah. So, yeah, they started attacking Lebanon basically to weaken Hezbollah so they could go after Syria. So all those people they killed in Lebanon was just a distraction to go after Syria. That's pretty fucked up. It just proves that these people will kill anyone and anything that gets in their way of what they want. Doesn't matter how many civilians get killed. It's fucking insane. Next article. Well, actually, let me go check on everybody real quick. Right? I was not singing. It may have sounded like it the way I was talking, but like I have breathing issues, so I have to. So my talking is strange sometimes. My eyes go places. Okay. The only reason why y'all are here is because I am. Let's be honest. Go find something more. What? What's going on? Did I miss some shit? Hello, JFK. How are you? Huh? Oh my. Feels like I missed a lot. Oh goodness. Oh goodness gracious. That's a tough question. It might go through what is now considered Israel, but the borders, they because in 1967 they started expanding. So I would have to look to see what area that went through. So apparently there's a lot of feistiness going on. Wed? Who's Wed? Is there... Yikes. Oh, sharing nudes of people is kind of not good. They can actually get people in trouble. They have laws about that. We probably should not be doing that, folks. Can't really condone that. Let's see. I'm having a blast in here. I am glad you are. I'm not tormenting you. I'm flirting. Oh, well, rare. Tank tops. Where's your girlfriend at? She was in here a minute ago. Let's see. Dr. Evil. Don't freak out. Uh-oh. Someone tells me not to freak out. I start to freak out, so I'm wondering what's about to happen. I heard power wheelchairs are the fad. What? Oh, yeah, there she is. Figured she was in here somewhere. Yeah, this seems to be getting a little wild in here. I'm not really sure what started all this. As always, Google if you have questions. Oh, there's... Okay, gotcha. Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, technically, I don't think Google can cover that. That's true. I think it's a little too specific. The Silk Road looks like it went through Lebanon. Oh, okay. Right on, right on. With spice. Yes, spicy. All right. Back to the articles. An Israeli strike in Gaza kills world's central kitchen workers. Of course it does. Because, unarmed people are so much easier to kill. That's why one of the reasons they were so, so agreeable to ceasefire in Lebanon was because, they were getting a lot more pushback. Here you're dealing with a small strip of land with a bunch of unarmed people that can't fight back. So they have no reason to call a ceasefire. Let's see. An Israeli strike on a car in the Gaza Strip on Saturday killed 5 people, including employees of the World Central Kitchen. A charity said it was urgently seeking more details after Israel's military said it targeted the kitchen workers who were part of the Hamas attack that sparked the war. See, they're claiming that everybody was part of Hamas. Remember they were saying that about Anwar, that UN school that was, a place for refugees to go and learn, or their kids to go and learn. So they were claiming that the UN was Hamas, that Anwar was Hamas, and now they're claiming that a charity that feeds people in war-torn areas is Hamas. Come the fuck on. Be fucking for real. They kill everybody and be like, oh, they were Hamas. Not everybody is Hamas. Come on. But yeah, apparently their military said that they killed them. They were part of the Hamas attack that sparked the war. Oh, bullshit. Let's see. World Central Kitchen said it was heartbroken by the airstrike and that it had no knowledge of anyone in the car had no knowledge that anyone in the car had alleged ties to the October 7th attack, saying that it was working with incomplete information. And it said it's pausing operations in Gaza. They are trying to starve those people to death. They have been attacking aid trucks, bringing in food. Settlers have been pulling those truck drivers out and beating the shit out of them. They have been bombing trucks that try to bring in food. And now they kill World Central Kitchen workers, that is a charity, killed them and claimed they're Hamas. They're just using it as an excuse, because if they just come out and say, yeah, we're trying to starve the Palestinians to death, and so we're trying to prevent food going in there, it might not look good. So they're just claiming that anybody who brings them food is Hamas, really. The charity's work in Gaza was temporarily suspended earlier this year after an Israeli strike killed 7 of its workers, most of them foreign. So yeah, Israel just keeps attacking charity workers and killing them. The Israeli military in the statement said that alleged October 7th attacker had taken part in the assault on the kibbutz of Nir Oz, and it asked senior officials from the international community and the World Central Kitchen administration to clarify how he came to work for the charity. The violence in Gaza raged even as a ceasefire between Israel and Hezbollah appeared to hold, despite sporadic episodes that tested its fragility. Yeah, and you know exactly who broke those ceasefires. We saw that in the other article. The strike on the vehicle highlighted what aid agencies call the dangerous work of delivering aid to Gaza, where the war has displaced much of the 2.3 million population and triggered widespread hunger. So anybody who tries to bring food in there is killed or beaten. So and they can't all be Hamas. Come the hell on. Palestinian health officer or official Al-Bursh confirmed the strike at Nasser Hospital in the southern city of Khan Yunis. A woman held up an employee badge bearing the World Central Kitchen logo, the word contractor, and the name of a man said to have been killed. Belongings, burned phones, and a watch and stickers of the World Central Kitchen logo lay on the hospital floor. Nazmi Ahmed said his nephew worked for the World Central Kitchen for the past year, and he said that he was driving to the charity's kitchen and warehouse. So you killed people who were on their way to the charity's kitchen and warehouse to get food. Wow. Today we went out as usual to work and was targeted without prior warning and without reason. In April, a strike on the WCK aid convoy killed 7 workers, 3 British citizens, Polish and Australian nationals, a Canadian, an American dual national, and a Palestinian. The Israeli military called the strike a mistake. It's not a mistake. They're killing these people on purpose. They keep thinking, batting their lashes, oh, it was an accident. So they just keep getting away with doing this. And it's unbelievable how they get away with it. It's crazy. The strike prompted an international outcry and the brief suspension of aid to Gaza by several groups, including the WCK. Another Palestinian WCK worker was killed in August by shrapnel from an Israeli airstrike. Another Israeli airstrike Saturday hit a car near a food distribution point in Khan Yunis, killing 13 children. 13 people, including children. So pretty much if anybody's trying to get food to people, or if people are getting there to get food, they kill them. If that's not trying to starve people to death, I don't know what is. They're doing everything they can to make sure these people die from starvation. Because they know, with our stupid government the way it is, that all they got to do goes, oh, sorry, I'm sorry they couldn't get food. We were just trying to stop Hamas. And the U.S. government can be like, oh, it's okay, little buddy. These things happen. They'd rather ask for forgiveness than ask for permission, kind of a thing. They just kill everybody now and they'll handle the questions later. It's fucking gross. They were distributing aid, vegetables, and we saw the missile landing, says witness Al-Sari, a woman who sat on the ground and wept. Efforts to secure a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas has been faltered repeatedly. but the U.S. and France brokered a deal for Lebanon appears to be holding. Yeah, it's because, honestly, they just want the land of Gaza. Even though that was definitely never supposed to be their land. There are maps that are like 500 years old that show Palestine and Gaza. Like, even if it says, like, Kingdom of Judea, this and that Gaza spot has pretty much always been there. But they want that little bit of land, too. Because all that they have is never good enough. There was no immediate comment from Syrian authorities. Did I miss something? I did. Sorry. On Saturday, Israel's military said it struck sites that has been used to smuggle weapons from Syria to Lebanon. Sure. After the ceasefire took effect, there was no immediate comment from Syrian authorities, Hezbollah, or activists monitoring the conflict there. Israeli aircraft have struck Hezbollah targets in Lebanon, citing violations several times since the truce. Well, considering they're happily killing people who are just taking food to people who are hungry, they consider anything to be a violation of the ceasefire, let's be honest. The Israeli strike in Syria came as insurgents breached the country's largest city, Aleppo, in a shock offensive that brought fresh uncertainty to the region. The truce between Israel and the Iran-backed Hezbollah calls for a two-month ceasefire. Oh, so that's why they want Hezbollah to agree to a 2-month ceasefire. Because if Hezbollah is helping protect Syria, they want 2 months to attack, 2 months of uninterrupted attacks on Syria, and they will blame Hezbollah if Hezbollah breaks their ceasefire to protect Syria. So they're basically trying to put Hezbollah in the corner so they can attack another country. This is what, their 4th or 5th country they've attacked now? Israel has? 2-month ceasefire in which the militants are to withdraw north of Lebanon's Litani River as Israeli forces are to return to their side of the border. Many Lebanese, some of the 1.2 million displaced, streamed south to their homes, despite warnings by Israel and Lebanese militaries to stay away from certain areas. Day by day, we will return to our normal lives. Until Hezbollah goes to protect Syria, and they'll start attacking Lebanon again. Lebanon's state-run national news agency said that Israel's drone strike on the village of Rub killed 2 people and wounded 2 others. It said that another strike on a car in southern village of Zun, and Lebanon's health ministry said that 3 were wounded, including a 7-year-old. Israel's military said it had been operating to distance suspects in the region without elaborating. Israel says it reserves the right to strike against any perceived violations. Yeah, any perceived violations. Even if they think somebody might be looking at them wrong, they'll go do some crazy shit. Israel has made returning the tens of thousands of displaced Israelis home to a goal of the war. The Israelis have been apprehensive about returning. Yeah, because they know what kind of shit's going on. No, it will not be like before, one Israeli evacuee. Hezbollah began attacking Israel on October the 8th in solidarity with Palestinian militant group. We already ran across an article that said that wasn't true. So, and it's assault on the southern Israel, the assault on southern Israel. Israel and Hezbollah kept up cross-border firing for nearly a year until Israel escalated. I'm surprised they were honest about it. Escalated with an attack that detonated hundreds of pagers and walkie-talkies used by Hezbollah. It wasn't used by Hezbollah. It was used by a bunch of civilians. They might have got 1 or 2 Hezbollah people, but now they got everyday people, and they even killed a 10-year-old girl. Apparently, the little girl was handing the pager to somebody, and it blew her up. It then launched an intense aerial bombardment campaign that killed Hezbollah leaders, including Nasrallah, and launched a ground offensive or invasion in early October. So, well, at least they admitted that Israel escalated the attack, and it was an invasion. More than 3,760 people have been killed by Israeli fire in Lebanon, many of them civilians. Yep. According to the Lebanese health officials. The fighting has killed more than 70 people in Israel. Over half of them are civilians. It's hard to have civilians in Israel since the mandatory military service. So, yeah. As well as a dozen of Israeli soldiers fighting in southern Lebanon. Hey, if you are a soldier that crossed the border and went into someone else's country aggressively, you are fair fucking game. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear them complain. And of course, they're like, October attack. Like, they always got to put that in everything. On Saturday, Hamas released a video of Israeli-American hostage Eden Alexander speaking under duress. Alexander referred to being held for 420 days and mentioned Prime Minister Netanyahu's recent $5 million offer for the hostages' return. The Prime Minister is supposed to protect his soldiers and citizens, and you abandoned us. So, yeah, they're saying he spoke under duress to excuse the fact that he's like, no, this motherfucker abandoned his people. I don't think that was under duress. That was probably pretty honest of him. Netanyahu's office said the prime minister spoke with Alexander's family after the release of the brutal psychological warfare video. Boy, they like to be dramatic. God damn. And that held an important and exciting sign of life. Israel's retaliatory offensive in Gaza has killed over 44,000 Palestinians. And it's actually a hell of a lot more than that. A lot fucking more than that. According to local health officials, who do not distinguish between civilian and combatants in their count, but say over half the dead were women and children. Yeah, that's a lot of fucking women and kids. But you got to realize that the Israeli government sees Palestinian children as potential terrorists someday, so it's okay to kill them. That's what they say. All right. Want to make sure I didn't get shut down again. Last time they kind of did that to me. Who has an ego? Oh, is that ego? I'm sorry, I was thinking ego. Is that ego or ego? I think that ego has two G's. I got a package arriving at 10 p.m. tonight, but it's not out for delivery. This will be showing up in the morning. Amazon is lying to me. They do that sometimes. Is Mora getting a master's in international relations? I probably end up finding myself killed by somebody because I snitched on their dirty work. Well, I mean, the guy has a right to vent a little bit. You know, random exploding tech is scary, right? Yeah, I made a whole live stream practically dedicated to that mess. Because, I mean, for that many people, for all those pagers to be in circulation, they had to have had this plan for months and had to wait for people's technology to break down and then have to go buy a new one. So, yeah, there's a chance they had those explosives waiting for a year before detonating them. Can we talk about something closer to home? I did the last time, but this seems to be the stuff that pops up. I'll be streaming in about 10 minutes. Nice. Hello, number 2 with fries. Meow, meow, and welcome. I would like to ask Maura something. She's kind of not caring about the chat. Because when I do full screen to read what's happening, I can't see the chat. So it's not that I don't care. I do periodically come back, goober nuts. Hello, Canada RV. Meow, meow. All right. There we go. So, yes, I come back to try to routinely check it and everything. So I'm not, Russian cats can live stream. And why not? Russian cats have a right to live stream like any other cat. Yeah. All right. All right. Next article. Let's see. Now, this reminded me of when they pulled out of Afghanistan and left a bunch of weapons behind. And everybody was saying that pretty much leaving the weapons behind is arming the enemy. And that's why one of the many reasons that people were pissed off at Biden because of the way they got left there. So I thought this was interesting. Army vehicles left abandoned in the Idlib province of Lebanon as insurgents advance on shock offensive. So basically, these vehicles were left so that the Al-qaeda type people could have weapons ready. That's basically what's happened. Army vehicles left abandoned as insurgents advance. So basically, they're being left behind, and it's possible that Joe Biden inspired this because they were talking about how, they were saying Hamas had somehow got their hands on the shit that was from Afghanistan, the American weapons and stuff, and the rumor was that whoever got those sold them to Hamas. So basically, whoever left these behind left them for those Al-Qaeda type people who are being called Syrian rebels right now. So let's make this bigger. It's not going to let me actually do anything with the caption, so I just hope they're big enough that you can see them. Well, so far I'm just seeing the same tank again and again. That might be a... Oh, okay, and that thing. So random people, teenagers are just getting up there and taking pictures with it. I mean, I get that. I would probably stand out and have a picture with it too. I guess there's no captions. That's kind of weird. Yeah, there's no talking. There's just, look at all that. Look at all that ammunition they have left behind for those Al-Qaeda type people going into Syria. But these look pretty old and rusty, to be honest. These are surprisingly old and rusty looking. But these look a lot like the weapons that supposedly Israel found that were supposed to belong to Hezbollah. Interesting. Like these little rocket things over here. Little RPG fucking things. So yeah, those are being left behind. It says army vehicles left abandoned. They're not even explaining. Military vehicles abandoned by Syrian troops. Okay. Dotted the roads in Idlib province on Sunday. So that's kind of weird that you're leaving like military equipment behind as insurgents are coming in. That's kind of bizarre. Like you would think that you would take you and your equipment the fuck out of there, but yeah, I'm sure y'all can find that just as suspicious as I do. Next article. Iran throws its support behind Assad as rebels expand their shock offensive. Well, it's hard to be mad at Iran, who again is helping fight against Al-Qaeda adjacent assholes. Iran has thrown support behind the Syrian government after thousands of insurgents took control of the country's largest city of Aleppo and seized nearby towns and villages in a swift and surprising offensive. We firmly support the Syrian army and the government. Iran's foreign minister Agachi, I guess, was quoted to say that the state-run IRNA news agency, before he set out for Syria's capital Damascus on Sunday, the Syrian army will once again be victorious over these terrorist groups as in the past. His comments came after the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, a London-based war monitor, reported that insurgents led by al-Sham had taken seized control of Aleppo International Airport. The observatory said that the fighters from the group posted pictures from the airport, which would be the first international airport to be controlled by insurgents. The rebels now control a majority of Aleppo after forcing the governor, the police, and security branches to retreat from the city center. At least 347 fatalities, including 40 civilians, have been killed during the clash. According to the War Monitor Group, which relies on a network of on-the-ground information sources, 5 children and 3 women were among the civilians that bombarded an airstrike. It added. Killed by bombardment and airstrike, sorry. The fighting further exacerbates Syria's humanitarian crisis, already one of the world's worst after a 13-year civil war, which began in 2011 as a protest movement against Assad's authoritarian rule, but has since killed an estimated 500,000 people. So this protest movement that's against Assad has ended up actually killing probably more people than Assad has. Well, fuck. I actually don't know how many people Assad is accused of killing, but I feel like if he had killed 500,000 people, there would be a lot of headlines saying that. Not that the headlines tell the truth, but if it's a truth that fits them, they would. The offensive raises questions about the preparedness of Syrian President Assad's armed forces. In his public comments released by the state news agency Saturday evening, Assad said that Syria will continue to defend its stability and territorial integrity against terrorists and their supporters. Syria is able to defeat them no matter how much their attacks intensify. Which makes me wonder, if they're fighting, then why would the Syrian army leave their equipment behind for rebels, for insurgents to get? I feel like maybe somebody else's army left that there, not the Syrian army, but they're going to be blamed for it. I don't know. Might be weird, but let's, The observatory reported Saturday that his forces were sending large reinforcements and drawing a defensive line around several cities and villages in the Hama Governorate, which sits south of Aleppo. Iran's renewed commitment to Assad underscores the geopolitical stakes in the conflict and exposes a complex web of rivalries, factions, and foreign interventions that ensure Syria's turmoil. While Assad controls roughly 70% of Syrian territory, the remaining areas are held by a mix of opposition groups, Kurdish forces, and the countries like the U.S. and Turkey. And don't forget that the Turks have been trying to kill the Kurdish, who have been allies to us in fighting terrorists for decades. So don't forget that. Tehran sees Syria as a critical part of the regional strategy, providing a land corridor to Hezbollah in Lebanon and a front against Israel's influence. Iran's support for Assad mirrors that of Russia, which helped to turn the tide of the war in 2016 battle for Aleppo between Syrian government forces and rebel fighters. The victory helped Assad to secure Assad's hold on the strategic areas of Syria, with opposition factions and their foreign backers controlling areas on the periphery. Moscow's intervention also secured its military presence in Syria, including a naval base at Tartus, while bolstering Assad's grip on power. The main backer of the Syrian opposition group, Turkey, said in recent weeks its diplomatic efforts had failed to stop the government attacks on opposition-held areas. These were violations of the de-escalation agreement it sponsored along with Russia and Iran. So basically, Turkey is unhappy that the part of Syria they have, Syria wants it back. Well, God forbid they should want their own pieces of their own country back. Ain't that some shit? However, its primary focus is undermining Kurdish-backed rebels near its borders. Yeah, Turkey has been trying to kill the Kurds for quite a while. Ankara has said that Syrian Kurdish fighters are an extension of the separatist Kurdish Workers Group, which has been fighting for autonomy in southeastern Turkey since the 1980s, a conflict that has killed tens of thousands of people. The U.S., for its part, opposes Assad, opposes Russia, and opposes Iran, but has allied itself with Syrian Kurdish forces despite their fight against NATO allies, Turkey. Well, maybe they shouldn't have Turkey as a fucking ally, since the Turkey's fucking bunch of assholes. Inside Aleppo, schools and government offices were closed Saturday as most people stayed indoors, according to Sham, a foreign minister or FM radio, a pro-government station, although bakeries were open. Well, you got to have snacks, obviously. The UN Office for the Coordination of Human Affairs said that Friday's Aleppo two key public hospitals were reportedly full of patients, while many private facilities were closed. Now, this I thought was interesting. I found some bullshit that Israel's trying to feed us here. So, this is from 7 hours ago. The IDF kills terrorists. Well, Lahola, I guess, who murdered Israeli Yonton Deutsch. So, The IDF and Shin Bet, I think that's like their CIA, killed terrorist Lahola, who murdered Israeli citizen Yonatan Dutch. Israel's military announced on Sunday. Huh. See. So this guy, age 31, was a resident of the West Bank's Kobaytia, the IDF said. It added that he was the head of a terrorist cell at the time he was killed in an Israeli airstrike. It's funny how they always seem to manage to find the head of something. The terrorist strike that Lahola initiated which killed Deutsch, occurred back in August. So I decided to look for this. So I was like, okay. So I go back to August 11th of 2024. Yonatan Dutch killed in a shooting attack in the West Bank. IDF pursues terrorist. Not terrorist, plural, terrorist, singular. So, let's see. They also said that at this time, somewhere in here, it said they did not have a suspect, but they're pursuing. Let's see. Where is it? That was terrorist, plural. In the attack, pursued the terrorists, blocked the roads, and conducted searches in the area. Roads were later opened to traffic. So apparently, one of them died, the other survived. The terrorist, singular again, who by press time had not yet been identified, opened fire from a passing vehicle. So this is like a drive-by shooting is what happened. So then we go to August 17th. Hold on. This is August 11th. It's August 17th. IDF eliminates terrorists involved in killing of Yonatan Deutsch. The IDF noted that the two names of two people involved, the two names of the terrorists arose from a Shin Bet interrogation. The senior Hamas operatives were eliminated via airstrike on a vehicle in the West Bank. So I think it's interesting that they're claiming they killed the guy who killed Yonatan Dutch when they supposedly killed him back in August. So that's kind of weird, don't you think? The IDF noted that the two names, two fucking people involved, two people. First terrorist is named Abu Ara. And the second one is Dawasi. So it's kind of weird. They found there was two people accused of killing that person in drive-by. They have killed them in August, but now they're claiming to somehow found the guy again. They found another one, even though they only mentioned there had been two. So I think that's kind of wild. Like, okay. So I thought I'd share that silliness with you. But all right, let's see. The terrorist attack initiated, which killed Deutsch. They call it a terrorist attack. It wasn't a terrorist attack. It was a drive-by shooting. Fucking drive-by shooting that killed one person and injured another. That's not terrorist attack. That's a drive-by shooting. Sorry, it is. Anyway, but yeah, another was also wounded during the attack. The IDF said that after. Why is the cat meowing? Oh, for heaven's sake! Give me a sec. I'm gonna go find out why this cat is fucking tripping. Shut up, Nuki. Hold on. What's going on, cat? Why are you acting like this? Anyway, sorry, the cat's being an idiot. So anyway, I thought that was kind of interesting. They supposedly killed the two people who were involved in the killing, and now they've airstriked one. And it's like, oh, he was a terrorist from this other thing that was never mentioned before. And I looked up the guy's name. I looked up this guy right here to see what information they had on him. They're talking about him like in 2022, but nothing that connects him to the death of that person, the drive-by, until like the last like 48 hours or so. but nothing from like 6 months ago, or not 6 months ago, nothing from like September or October that would imply that this guy had anything to do with this shooting. So, anywho. So, yeah. I think I got it all out of my system for now. Oh, we got more stuff. Let's see. Huh. Right on. I would like a Russian squirrel named Peanut. I hate Peanut. Damn. Fred also Russian rocks. A raccoon. Rodents. Cats are furry. Most of them. Oh my. Nice take. The cannon was happy. I want a tank in my driveway. I don't want it to be easy to find. I want it hidden somewhere. That way I can run to it if I need to. Mexico gets all U.S. old cars. The Middle East gets old ammo. I guess. Probably old Iraqi weapons. It's possible. Without being able to see the markings on them, it's hard to say. I'm old enough to remember that song. Let's see. Voter turnout, Canadians. America first, babe. Cats are jerks. Awesome jerks. Yes, finally I got it all out of my system for now. So it might be another 2 or so days, depending on what happens. Because if more crazy shit pops up, that's so fucking depressing. Another bleak Christmas in Bethlehem as Christian families quit West Bank. Oh, let's go look at this. Because they want you to think it's just Muslims out there. Because it's much more palatable if they're just carpet bombing, Muslim people after all. And they're trying to act like there's not Christians out there getting hurt or killed. But yeah, another bleak Christmas in Bethlehem as Christian families quit West Bank. Bethlehem, West Bank. For a second year running, there is no Christmas cheer in Bethlehem, with tourists shunning the Palestinian city and many residents seeking a way out as the Gaza war grinds on. Yeah, they tore it up pretty bad last Christmas. Bethlehem's manger square in front of the Church of the Nativity is largely deserted and souvenir shops are shuttered. Once again, there is no plans to put up the traditional lights festooned Christmas tree in the ancient settlement that is venerated by Christians as a birthplace of Jesus and now sits in Israel's occupied West Bank. During these difficult times that our Palestinian cities are going through, especially in the Gaza Strip, it is difficult to show any signs of joy and happiness, said Issa. I'm just going to say Issa because I cannot pronounce this at all. But Issa, an Orthodox priest who ministers at the Nativity Church. Yeah, they want you to believe that those Palestinians go around hurting Christians and they're not welcome there and this and that. That is incorrect. They have a long-going relationship with Christians in that area. Adding to the gloom, many local Christian families are looking to escape, demoralized by both the tourist slump that has ravaged their economy and the constant threat of violence hovering over the territories northeast of Gaza. The immigration out of Bethlehem is increasing daily and monthly, and it has a negative impact on the city. Christian communities have been in decline across the Middle East for generations, and the West Bank is no exception. In the last year of British rule over the region in 1947, some 85% of Bethlehem's population were Christian. I did not realize there was 85% Christians in the Bethlehem area in 1947. In 1948, Israel became an official state, so I'm sure that number plays into this. As of 2017 census, the overall population of Bethlehem was 215,514, with only 23,000 Christians among them. That puts the percentage of Christians in Bethlehem in 2017 around 10%. So ever since Israel became a state, the Christian population has dropped to 10% from 85%. Ain't that something? Locals say that the rate of departure has been gathering steam in recent months in the cradle of Christianity, with the economic lifeblood of the city no longer flowing and the Israeli occupation preventing freedom of movement around the territory. But, it's the Palestinians that are the problem. Okay. Bethlehem residents, Afteam, who runs the falafel restaurant, said that one of his cousins had recently moved to Australia. Due to the bad living conditions and bad financial conditions, people are starting to look for better opportunities for their children, for better education, for a better future. Since the 1967 war between Israel and neighboring Arab countries, Israel has occupied the West Bank, which Palestinians want as the core of their future independent state. Israel has built Jewish settlements deemed illegal by most countries across this territory. Israel disputes this, citing historical and biblical ties to the land. Several of its ministers live in the settlements and in favor of their expansion. Of course they do. Violence has surged across the hilly land since the start of the Hamas-Israel war in Gaza in October. Hundreds of Palestinians, including armed fighters, stone-throwing youth, and civilian bystanders, have died in clashes with Israeli security forces, while dozens of Israelis have been killed in Palestinian attacks. Difficult at the best of times, travel between the West Bank cities has become increasingly fraught. There is no security if you are commuting between districts within the West Bank, like between Bethlehem and Ramallah, Jericho, and Hebron. Munther Isaac, a pastor at the Bethlehem Lutheran Church, says local Muslim families have been immigrating, squeezed by both financial problems and broader worries about the future. There is a fear that this war might extend to areas in the West Bank, especially after the arming of settlers. Yeah, because sometimes this Israeli civilians or whatever they are grab guns and start harassing people to leave so they can take up their land. So that's what they're talking about, the army of settlers and the announcement of a possible annexation of the West Bank. The West Bank has been transformed by rapid growth of Jewish settlements over the past 20 years, with strident settlers pushing to impose Israeli sovereignty on the area. Far right, you know what's funny? They're talking about because of the biblical connection to the land, they feel like they should have it 3,000 years later. I think it's interesting because most of the people here in America that are supporting this idea would absolutely have a hissy fit if Native Americans came to their property and said, we want our land back. They'd be like, well, that's different. It's mine now. It's funny how they're okay with this happening to the Palestinians, but they wouldn't be okay if it happened to them. All right. The far-right National Security Minister, Itamar Ben-Gvir, who's a fucking psychopath, said on Twitter in October that since the start of the Gaza conflict, more than 120,000 firearms have been distributed to Israeli settlers to protect themselves. Except they don't. They take those guns and they go into areas that are not theirs and fucking attack people. In Isaac's church, the nativity scene has a figure of a baby Jesus lying in a pile of rubble. We feel that this war will never end. So yeah, it's pretty fucked up. Can you imagine how bad it is when you've destroyed Christmas in Bethlehem? Yeah, that's pretty much their thing. Anywho. They always want people to forget about the Christians of Palestine. I've been trying to remind them, but my voice does not get heard very far. But I do try to put it on Facebook occasionally. Actually, did I save that article? I hope I did. Did I? I did not. I did not save that article, but I'll go back and I'll find it and I'll post it on Facebook. Make them feel bad. Although they'll probably say something stupid like, well, the Christians shouldn't have been there. I mean, that would be a wild take to have. Like, Christians shouldn't be in Bethlehem. That would be a wild take. But they will do anything, any kind of gymnastics to excuse what's going on right now. Because God forbid they go, you know what? You were right. We were wrong. We should not have fucking backed this. God forbid, man. Anywho, Y'all are awesome. I love y'all. Thank you so much for coming in. Oh, Jesus Christ. For spending an hour and 48 minutes with me. Woof. Well, let me read that again. Right, exactly. Jesus would have been a Palestinian. And besides, I don't know. Maybe he's not totally Jewish. I don't know. I mean, the Jewish people seem to really fucking hate him, and they really treated him like an outsider. I think, wasn't there a situation in one of the scriptures where Jesus had to avoid the area of Judea because the people there were trying to hunt him down? They were wanting to hurt him. Like, I think so. Anywho, hairball. Let's get our little song ready so we can, play it out. Funny, she doesn't look Jewish. Anywho, you and your Spaceballs reference. Anyway, I love you guys. I will see you in a day or so because, again, if crazy ass news happens and I pile up a bunch of headlines, I can do it as early as tomorrow. But probably day after tomorrow. Anyway, I love y'all. Lots of hugs.
Welcome to the ship show. Every single day, a new flavor of fuckery. Cause everybody's such, you see, and they're dumber than a bag of clots. Monday, bullshit. Tuesday, bullshit. Wednesday, what the fuck? And then 4 more days of increasingly stupid, ridiculous, ignorant, boulder, dash, poppycock, bollocks, and fuckers.